Say we gon' set your day right, yeah. Na, 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 na. We gon' turn it up nice. Na, 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 na. Get ready for the time of your life. We bring the vibes and we bringing it right. We're the brunch, doing it right, doing it right. Go we on here and we ready to bring the fire. Turn the radio up. Go we on here with the brunch, take it higher. Turn the radio up. Go we on here and we ready.
Thank God that this is my exodus. You have to claim it. You have to believe it. You have to receive it. And then once you receive it, you have to say amen, because that is the acknowledgement that you received it. And you know what? Whatever you're going through, all you have to do is believe by faith that this is your exodus. Moses, I can't get nobody to help me up here. Right. I'm going to start preaching on this Tuesday because it's really my Monday because we just got back. But you know what time it is. You're rocking with the Brunch Bunch right here on Inspiration 1390. It's your main man, Action Jackson, and filling in temporarily for my girl, Tamera Fair, is none other than
Autumn Aaliyah. Hey guys, hey believers.
I love when I tell Autumn at the last minute, like, hop on the mic real quick. Her eyes buck, but she be thirsty. She get jumped right on the mic. Autumn, how was your weekend?
It was beautiful. I spent some time with the family. We watched some movies. It was nice.
I thought you were going to say I went out of town because you travel more than anybody I know. I want your job.
No, I wish I could have traveled. But no, we just stayed at the house. Nothing too special this time. How about you?
You know what? I had an amazing weekend, believers. I've been talking about it. Shout out to, yesterday was Money Monday, but we didn't get to do Money Monday because everybody was just a little tired from celebrating. But shout out to the money team, Shirley, Latricia, and Jennifer, because my beautiful fiance closed on a 4-unit building over the weekend. And the best part about it was she closed on Friday and Saturday was the first. And guess what she got? 4 rents paid to her, and it was so exciting. So shout out to the Brunch Bunch and Money Monday, because that's definitely a testimony from us being a part of this show, because our team made it happen. But speaking of testimony, it's Testimony Tuesday, and believers, we want to hear from you. Call and tell us something good God has done for you. Now, here's the thing. The Bible teaches us that we overcome by the words of our testimonies. And you never know what somebody's going through. And them hearing your testimony may give them the strength and the faith to overcome what they're going through. Call 312-591-3878. Tell us something good that God has done for you. 312-591-3878. We're going to do it all show long because I want to encourage the believers. Don't go nowhere. We got way more to share right here on Inspiration 1390. So, as awful as some people believe Facebook to be, it has single-handedly put more racists out of work than any other social media site. Last week, a volunteer fire chief in South Carolina landed in hot water after making a blatantly racist Facebook post that he swore wasn't racist. Evidently, the backlash was too much as the man has resigned from his position. Now, according to WFAE, Francis Butch Gent resigned from his role as chief of the McDonald Green Volunteer Fire Department last Friday. He was already suspended on April 22nd after posting on Facebook that cops should stop responding to black neighborhoods as, I quote, "They will eventually kill each other and the fake news won't have a story." Gent was adamant that the post wasn't racist as it was intended to target the news media. Sure, buddy. Now, freelancer and general MVP of the Root, Zach Lindley, has broken down how, yes, the post was racist. Now, I always find it funny how white folks love talking all this mess online, but as soon as they get called on it, they're so quick to backpedal and, of course, use the famous line, "But I'm no racist." You said what you said. If you can't stand by what you say online, maybe you should consider not saying it at all. I'm also starting to feel like white people's definition of racism literally boils down to, how am I racist? I didn't even use the hard R. So what do you think, Autumn? Was that a racist post? And let me say it again for those who might have missed what he said. He said, and I quote, cops should stop responding to black neighborhoods because they will eventually kill each other and the fake news won't have a story.
I feel like it was just, no. I wouldn't say it was really racist, but it was inappropriate. And it was taken, maybe he meant it a certain way, but I don't know. What do you think?
Church lady, what do you think? Was it racist? Shake your head, yay or nay or no or whatever. Look, she gonna play something. Look, I believe that the post was very much so racist. Because how can... I mean, he said eventually black folks just gonna kill each other off. You know, well...
Oh, I thought he was talking about police and black people.
No.
He's saying
definitely racist. Oh, okay, there you go. She
that
ain't
is
listening.
Inappropriate.
Believe us, Autumn isn't listening. But that's okay. No, he said police shouldn't respond to black neighborhoods because they'll, meaning black people, eventually will kill each other off.
Yeah, those are just probably his ideologies from when he was younger, and his parents probably told him that. Yeah, that's definitely racist because he probably sees black people as animals who can't control themselves and they need someone to control them, i.e. white people. So, yeah, I didn't like the comment at all, and he should have gotten fired, so, yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm so excited now. I am, impartial to social media because I use social media as a tool for business and building my brand and connecting with family. But I'm also not one of those people who just stroll all day, troll all day long. And, sometimes I think people put too much on it. But I do appreciate the part of social media where we read stories like this and people think that they can say and do whatever they want on social media and there won't be any consequences or repercussions. And unfortunately, our brothers of another color and our sisters from another mister are finally seeing consequences and repercussions for saying racist things and spewing hate on social media. So shout out to Facebook in the case of Buddy, whose name I won't mention, who is no longer the volunteer fire chief. How do you lose a volunteer job? See, that's what happens when you're crazy. It
is good that they're being held accountable. And Twitter, they're doing a good job with that because I see a lot of the black community coming together to say, oh, that's not right. And they're showing all of this evidence. So now you can't say, oh, it wasn't this or that, or try to bring up someone's records to justify someone's murder. So I think it's great what's happening now. We just got to keep progressing in the direction we're going.
Now, speaking of racist and racism, last night I watched the movie Amistad, which came out, I believe, in the early 90s. Have you seen Amistad, Autumn? Church lady?
No.
Okay, listen, I would tell you to please go and watch Amistad. I was texting all of my friends last night, watch Amistad. Now, we say we're tired of watching slave movies. No, we got to keep watching them. But I enjoyed this movie all over again because it was a different perspective of slavery. This movie shows the passage of a group of slaves on their way to America, and they revolt and kill everybody on the ship except two of the slave capturers. But when they were caught, then they stand trial for killing these slaves. So it's a whole trial. I won't tell the story, although it came out over 20-something years ago, so I'm sure everybody should know. But make sure you watch it. We have to continue to look at his... And it's a true story. And it showed President John Quincy Adams and the role he played in this story. So, yeah, so check that out. We got a long way to go, but we've come a long way from whence we've come. Yes. And so we want to keep educating ourselves and our children and our grandchildren and our neighbors and our brothers and our sisters about our history because it's a strong history. And if we know our strong history and we have a strong faith, guess what? We will win. Don't go nowhere. We got way more to share right here on Inspiration 1390.
Well, I didn't get an opportunity to actually express my disdain for the fire chief's comments, but I am officially putting it on the record that was heinous. And I often laud the fire department for not acting like the police department, right? And then when I said that to several fire department workers, they were like, "Oh no, the fire department is racist as well."
Very, very much.
But I
so.
didn't know that.
And Chicago, especially, because for years it was hard for African Americans to even become a fireman.
Yeah, but I wasn't even necessarily talking about the barriers to entry. I was talking about on-the-call jobs. That I don't see that same kind of racial divide that I see in the police department.
I think it could be because we don't see as many fires as you see as many respondents for the police.
Well, I don't know. Don't say that too soon. Because,
Lord, please.
Because let me just say that in June, when that sentencing comes down for Derek, we don't know what kind of fires are going to pop up. But whatever it is, we're going to be in position to put the fires out. So, speaking of fires, this is a non-rhetorical question, so I definitely want an answer. Are the COVID cases going up, or are they going down, or are they staying steady? Just remember that every time I ask a question, I already know the answer.
You know what? I know where you're going with this. Keep going.
Okay, so Mayor Lightfoot announced that the city is expected to be fully reopened by July the 4th, 2021. And Governor Pritzker chased it with his announcement that the auto show will resume to McCormick Place in that same month of July. Hospitalization is down in Illinois, and Pritzker said that the state is ready for the bridge phase, which will loosen the restrictions residents have. Well, here is what we already know what residents can expect in this Phase 5. Phase 5 will expand the capacities to 60% for gyms, theaters, spectator events, zoos, offices, retail, museums, and amusement parks. Pritzker is saying the decline in COVID-19 infections and hospitalization, as well as seniors surpassing the goal of 70% being vaccinated, is all added to the state's potential moving to the next phase. And like Action, a lot of residents in Illinois and across the nation are applauding this reopening. But I am suggesting reopen with caution. Still continue to wear your masks. Still continue to practice the universal precautions that you have been practicing, because what we don't want is that we stop using the precautions and then see an incline and an uptick in these cases. So I spent a lot of time with my doctor in LA, and so she was saying, okay, we definitely have to get to herd immunity, so you definitely have to get you have to get the vaccine. Of course, I stood steadfast on my position.
Even though your doctor told you. Dr. Vivi, I hope.
Dr. Vivi and her sister, because both of them are doctors, and both of them were like bombarding me with it. And I respect Dr. Vivi. She cured us. She cured so many people that were around us. In fact, she has cured more people in COVID than I know of any doctor or any collection of doctors around the country. So, but I still have to be comfortable with me, so I have to take a wait. See, but I am excited about the numbers stabilizing and this COVID looking like it is. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, or there's a cliff for it to jump off of, right? So the rolling average or the positivity rate is 7 new cases per day per 1,000 citizens in Illinois. And there is a hotline. So for those of you who are still on the fence or who are still very terrified, because there's still a great population of people who are terrified to go out, there is a COVID hotline here in Illinois. It's 1-800-889-3931. 1-800-889-3931. This is not a conversation about whether I'm going to get immunized. This is a conversation about where Illinois is going. And of course, we want your finger on the pulse. We want you to always have your eye on the sky. And we want to be the one to lift you on that ascension.
Well, Ron DeSantis in Florida said, we opening next week. He said, forgive it. Well, he's a Republican, and he's been wanting to open, and he felt like constitutional rights have been broken. Here's my thing, right? And I saw all of these stories this morning, and my mind just started going all of these different places. One, let's get vaccinated. I did get my first vaccination, so I can definitely push get vaccinated.
Did you have any kickback?
Well, you know what? I don't know.
Well, did he? Valencia, did he have any kickback?
She got a headbutt. But no, listen. I was tired.
Okay.
But I'll tell you this. I got the shot, and I kept just doing true Action Jackson stuff. Wanted to work. I felt a little tired. Kept doing stuff. By the next day, I kind of crashed, and my body was just like...
So it was like a 5-hour.
Yeah, because I will admit to the Saints, hopefully my pastor not listening, I thought if I drank a little whiskey after the shot, it'll help.
So you made you a hot
Yeah,
shotty.
I
A
drink
hot
shotty. A little bit of hot toddy with a shotty. But no, so I was, brothers wore out. But now, Melinda looking at me like, oh my God, I can't believe. No, but so here's my point though. I started thinking today, like, these states are opening, and a year ago, the whole world shut down because people told us that we were living with this deadly disease. Nobody moved. Deadly virus.
Nobody moved.
Nobody moved. Nobody did nothing. And then the people say, oh, it's all good, go outside. When the virus is still here, not gone anywhere, but now everybody said, all right, let's go. I went to breakfast with Otis this morning. I saw all these seniors just sitting around. They had their masks on, but I'm like, just 1 year ago, because the media and government officials told us not to move, we were going to die. Don't look at old people. Don't breathe on them. I said, now they say everything okay. When we know it's not, everybody's outside, though. Everybody with masks. So in my mind, I'm like, last year we could have been out with masks on, or we could have kept businesses open, or we could have did whatever we were doing. But then there's the vaccination.
I was going to say the variable is the vaccine. I think
so
the
now
vaccine has given people
a little bit more level of health. But like you say, it's not going to, it doesn't cure the virus. It just protects you so you won't be as sick. But you'll still get sick.
And that you won't die.
But then I'm like, people are just making so much money. Because then I went on to think, Valencia, and I shared the testimony earlier, just closed on her first investment property, 4 units on Friday.
I saw it. I put it on. I put my comments on Facebook. That is such a win-win. Congratulations.
And guess who paid her deposit?
COVID.
Moderna.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because she had Moderna stocks and it rose so much she was able to withdraw her money and use that as her down payment on her buildings. I'm like, if this is making us money, just imagine the CEOs of this company. So I'm like, is this vaccine really being pushed because it's as effective, or is it making people billionaires?
And time will tell. Time will tell that. If it's making billions and it's effective, it's done its job, right? Doesn't matter as long as people are not dying and they're staying off the ventilators, out of the hospitals, and they can go back to some semblance of normalcy on the road to an eventual normalcy, right? But if, in fact, it does not, then that's when we have to go back to the drawing board and see where the gaps are and bridge those gaps. Now, that's where I come in. I'm going to be right there watching those on the fence. So
you're not going to go out this summer?
I'm going out this summer. I went out. I
you went out? Yeah, you've been traveling. Oh, yeah.
My first flight, I went to Baltimore to film the movie, and it was great. People in Baltimore are wearing masks. They're exercising their universal precautions in every way. The set was great. Everything was COVID friendly, in other words. And then I went to LA for an unfortunate situation, but the plane ride was great. They were using their precautions as well. So hats off to United. And I wasn't nervous, but of course, that's because I'm a believer. I believe that he's going to always have that hedge of protection.
I think my issue today was just like, we missed a whole year. And I feel like, and here's the conspiracy theorist in me too, like, as quick as they came out with these vaccinations, they probably could have came out with them a little bit quicker. But there's still so many people that are not vaccinated.
And I'm glad you said that, because that segues me seamlessly into stop putting that burden on only Black Americans. It's not just Black Americans that are not getting vaccinated. It is white Republicans that are not getting vaccinated as well, because they do not believe. The reason Black people are not getting vaccinated is because they want to believe, but they're taking a wait-see attitude. Republicans just flat out say, and that's Black and white Republicans, they flat out say, I'm not doing it, it's not real, or if it is real, it's not as real as you say it is.
Now, Reverend Darius Randall, a veteran community activist in the city, said that Black people need to get vaccinated because white people are getting vaccinated.
Okay. And I can respect that. I don't agree with it, but I can respect it.
I get it. I mean, it's a lot to it, but I will say I'm going to be out here this summer. Catch me in traffic. Catch me in these streets because I'm out the mud, right, Valencia?
I would like to know from a millennial perspective. You're Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Yeah, so from a Gen Z perspective, what do you feel about opening up the cities?
Wait, I don't know what generation she is. What is it, Z or X?
I'm not
It's
sure.
Z.
Either. Okay, so I'm Generation Z. But I think it's time to open up the world. I feel like everyone's tired of being just closed up in the house, and we all need to get out. I'm fully vaccinated. I told y'all I was going to get both shots, and I did it. I stuck by my word. And I felt a little sick. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I stayed in the bed like 2 days after, but then after that, I felt good. When the shot was getting put into me, it didn't hurt. It was actually one of the best feeling shots I've ever had.
Yikes.
Yeah, it did. Now, you know what? Now, I won't lie. When me and Matt went and got vaccinated together, Matt filmed me getting vaccinated, and I was sitting there, and everybody that ran the site knew I was scared, and the director of the site came up to me. Shout out to Sharon, and she looked at me because I was so nervous because everybody kept talking about this shot. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, so she was like, look at Action Jackson, the big old baby. And so when they did it, he walked away. Right, he walked away, and I'm like, when you gonna give me the shot? He was like, I gave it to y'all already. I said, y'all had me here for the cry for nothing. So it was painless. Now my next shot is the day after my birthday, May 15th. Okay. Lord, I pray I don't miss this second vaccination. What happens if you miss your second one?
Probably nothing as worse or as bad as if you went to the vaccination and you went inebriated.
So what do I do? Get a do-over?
Don't turn up on the birthday for the next day.
I don't know, Sister Tamera. We're going to pray. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. But listen, I'm excited because you know what? Once I get this second vaccination, I know that I'm going to have a strong finish because of my strong faith. It's Jonathan Nelson, Finish Strong, right here on the Brunch Bunch. You're rocking with the Brunch Bunch, and you just heard that commercial, and you heard the testimony. That super team helped Valencia get across the finish line and close on her first investment property that I didn't mention, Tammy. Valencia left the closing table with a check and then picked up rent from all her tenants the next day.
You did mention it on Facebook. You didn't mention it on the air, but that's important to mention because when you have an already revenue-generating property, it's a win-win. And I don't mean win-win because it sounds cute, but I mean you won at the table, and then you won.
Say it, Evangelist.
And you won at the address.
Don't make me run around. Speaking of win-win, I want to know if you think this is a win-win. CPS CEO Janice Jackson announces her departure. Listen, now, Chicago Public Schools CEO Janice Jackson, who rose from a CPS Head Start student to lead the district through a teacher strike and the COVID-19 shutdown, will leave her post and the school system this summer, announcing her departure Monday as the district continues to cope with the pandemic's incalculable impact. She confirmed her departure in a message to CPS staff saying, "It's time to pass the torch to new leadership for the next chapter. CPS has been an integral part of my life, first as a student, most importantly as a parent, and most humbly as the CEO. It is with that adoration that I have led this great school district as CEO for the past 4 years," she wrote. Now, before I get into it, because Tammy's smiling like she's ready, there's two other top officials resigning at the same time. I don't know how to feel about this because I think CEO Jackson was doing a phenomenal job.
I think that it speaks to the leadership. I don't necessarily think that it has anything to do with her necessarily, and a lot of people did support the initiatives that she brought forth during her tenure at CPS. So, but when you have a flight out and you have the same administration, I think that's what it speaks to.
Well, and I read another story that mentioned one of the issues was with the mayor's office and the teachers union, and that the teachers union kind of, and I'm paraphrasing, was bullying, and the mayor's office, Mayor Lightfoot, was giving them essentially whatever they asked for. But I think, and we talked about her before, her magnormous salary that I thought she deserved. It was well deserved. It's just kind of sad to see her go. We had a black woman. I thought anybody who was in a leadership role during COVID-19 pandemic,
they did good.
That survived the pandemic. Well, the pandemic isn't even over, but apparently,
we seem to keep thinking we're in post-pandemic status. No, we're not. We're
to the
in
city and state,
status.
we about to be post-pandemic by July. I don't know how they pick these dates, but it's sad to see her go. What do you think?
Well, it's always sad to see a black woman in a high-ranking position leave without an explanation. I personally think that she's going on to bigger and better things. In terms of where my disconnect came with her, had really nothing to do with her per se. Mm-hmm. It has everything to do with, I'm in the child care space, right? So my adoration and my commitment is to children. And when you look at Illinois policy, fact check me, illinoispolicy.gov put out a study about why we continuously in Chicago get a bad report card from our school system. And they've identified with
corruption.
We're not even go there yet because there's more to it than corruption. It's a fixable scenario. And it's because we're so admin heavy, we're so top down instead of being bottom up. So we put so many dollars into our administrators, and then we have so many administrators that money that was intended for the betterment of children, and particularly impacted children in disproportionate areas without resources, without the ability to direct pay. That's my disdain for that kind of. It has nothing to do with her. I celebrate any woman, black, white, or plaid, because women are so disproportionately viewed that it is hard. And when you look at the dollar value, for every dollar that a white male earns, a black woman earns 61 cents of that dollar. Yeah, that's impactful. And then for her to rise above that, that's to be celebrated. But her and any of her people that are on that level, I have a problem with if that money is not reaching the children.
Yeah, that's true. But we're praying. She did mention that she does, excuse me, she will not run another school district. She is not running for political office except maybe a school board position. And she did laugh when she said that. She said she just going away. So we do know now there's speculation that there's some scandals getting ready to come out because her and two other top officials have resigned. But where does this leave? I don't have that information on me. I was reading fast, and we got to research that and bring that info because apparently they're at the top with her. And so now where does that leave CPS with the top three, if it's the top three positions, empty?
Well, I couldn't tell you. All I'm saying is I'm just going to keep praying.
You should go be the CEO of CPS.
I tried out for that position a long time ago.
Well, listen. Somebody listening, I think Tamera Fair should get a chance at running Chicago Public Schools.
Well, let me just say this. If I wanted to be settled down to a regiment, I would never have become an entrepreneur.
But they need you. And our listeners always say you should run for office. That may be better than running for office.
Not if I have to work with the current administration. It won't be better.
Yeah, okay. Now, Tamera, well, that means you got to work real hard for Dr. Wilson next election.
Yeah, maybe so. I think that particularly when someone tells you in your face that these are the things that we're going to be able to do. We're going to have an elected school board. We're going to stabilize the child care industry, particularly in the CBO areas. We're going to stop kicking the can down the road for the pension crisis, and we're going to put some real implementations to get some real results. That's where my disconnect comes. Not as a person, like Lori as a person, but as a leader, I think that we have to address some of the gaps and start to fill them.
Well, I believe that we can imagine ourselves in different roles that we never even thought of, because my pastor said 2021 is the year of open doors. So guess what? I'm going to believe that maybe that door opened for Tammy, but I'm going to imagine myself walking through a new door, too. It's Kirk Franklin. Imagine me right here on the Brunch Fund. It's your main man, Action Jackson.
And it's your girl, Tamera Fair, right here on the air with your main man.
I already said my name is Tamera Action Jackson. Okay. Oh, the intro. Never mind. Listen, me and Tam were talking in the break, and I'm ready to jump right in this. So news has broke that billionaire Bill Gates and his wife, Melinda Gates, are getting a divorce. Now, and I'm going to say what church lady just said in a second because it's very funny. So everybody's like, wow, after 27 years. I found out that she worked for him. They met at a company dinner. They found out that they had a love for puzzles. They got married, built an empire. Well, he already had a small empire. She helped him grow it. And now they have to split $130 billion down to half. Now, there's a song.
What shall they do?
It's cheaper to keep her. But in this case, I guess you ain't got to fight when you still got $65 billion. So
I just don't understand it. Like, just go on. Have you seen their house? Like, their house is so winged out, like tricked out, that they could live simultaneously and never see each other.
And so that's the question. You know, people are like, well, why are they getting divorced? And why don't they just try to make it work? Well, I think when you got that much money and you and the person you're with just are not seeing eye to eye, you don't have to make it work anymore. Now, Autumn just asked Tammy a question during the break. Does he have a new woman? A new woman.
There's no jump offs in the wind yet, in the wings.
Now, right, and there are no. But Tammy responded by saying,
"Is he jump offable?"
Have you seen him? That's what you said. Have you seen him? Exactly what I said. Now I said for women, and women, please don't jump on me. But I did say for women. I don't think you got to look at him. You look at $130 billion is what women see. Now, when we brought this segment up, church lady said in the other studio, as soon as I said they're getting divorced, she said, tell him to call me. So, that's right there is one piece of evidence that proves that.
And that's true. There is an entire population of people that are driven to their mate by money.
And Stan Lane on Facebook said his money is so jump offable, sadly. LOL. No, I think that it is we are driven by what people have.
Well, obviously they built that together, right?
Yeah.
So she doesn't care about that.
Well, not necessarily, because he had owned Microsoft 20 years before they got married.
Yeah, but Microsoft wasn't Microsoft. Okay. It's Micro Hard now, so, you know.
This is a Christian show. I had a great joke for that. But
I do think that she's probably, like, fed up.
Well, you know, I mean, I think they both put out joint statements on Twitter. They were the exact same statement. So they're working together on getting this out that they're breaking up. So I think they were, I would hope we'll see it unfold. I think they just mature enough, rich enough to say, hey, look, this ain't working, bro. I want to do other things. And he said, all right, cool, let's go our separate ways.
Or maybe they had a split in ideologies. Because, you know, it has been reported that he is the leader in this population control effort. So
and maybe she didn't like that.
And she does a lot of philanthropy on her own. She has foundations, secret foundations. And for years now, she has been giving to HBCUs, and people don't even know it.
The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation is the number one foundation in the world. They have more money than any other foundation in the world. But I just want to say that...
But don't get too excited about it, because I understand. Because my doctor and his doctor are the same on certain issues. And I understand that he is not the nicest man in the world. And that's charitable.
Well, if my wife was mean and she had $130 billion, she's just going to be the meanest woman I love ever.
Well, I'm not repelling $130 million men. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I mean, not million, $1 billion men.
They staying away now. Tammy don't want no billionaire.
No, that's not true. I just don't want you to come with the money and think that you can't be kind. You have a license to be mean. That's not going to happen.
I don't think you'll let anybody be mean. I don't care if they had $10.
You got that right.
I don't even think you dated him $10 though. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. Tell you about to go crazy, but I do want to just end with this. God rest my sister's soul. When I was young, I drove a very nice car because I had my own business. And she used to tell me all the time, Marcel, those women only want you because you drive a nice car. And I would respond, and I only want them because they had a big butt. So we both using each other. Neither one of us know each other no way. So listen, we'll figure that out later. But speaking of figuring it out, we have figured out that we are out of time. And we will continue this conversation tomorrow on Chick Chat Wednesday with the queen of the South Charmaine. Now, you all know it won't be a long combo because she is the timekeeper, but we get it done from 12 to 1. We encourage you to keep love alive. Tell someone that you don't know that you love them. Tell someone that you do know that you love them. And love will begin to spread like a wildfire. Tamera Fair, I love you.
I love you too.
We love you, Autumn.
Yes.
Believers, we love you.